Hey everyone, have you ever thought that maybe all this talk about mental health could actually be backfiring a little?
Yeah, it might sound kind of strange, right?
Yeah, like counterintuitive.
But we're going to dive into some research today that suggests just that.
Yeah, we've got two really fascinating articles.
And they suggest that some mental health awareness campaigns,
The ones that are meant to be helpful.
right, those ones,
They might actually be having some unintended consequences.
yeah, especially for young people.
Okay, so the first article we're looking at takes us all the way to Australia,
Right.
where researchers developed this program for high schoolers
Uh-huh.
called Wise Teens, and it's based on DBT,
Oh, DBT,
which stands for
Dialectical Behavior Therapy.
Yeah, and it's a type of therapy that helps people develop skills
Mm-hmm.
to manage their emotions,
Yeah.
navigate difficult situations
Got a really good track record.
with adults.
Yes, especially with adults.
So you'd think this would be a great idea, right?
Absolutely.
Like a program designed to help teenagers.
Sounds good in theory.
But here's the thing.
This study actually found that it led to some students
Right.
reporting a worsening of their mental health.
Seriously.
Yeah,
That's so wild.
it is pretty surprising.
So a program designed to help is actually making things worse for some kids.
Yeah, that's what the study found.
Okay, so what went wrong?
Well, the researchers have a few theories.
Okay.
One possibility is that maybe the program was just too much too soon for this age group.
Okay, so teenagers.
They're already dealing with so much,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
hormones,
Yeah.
social pressures.
The whole shebang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So adding this really complex DBT stuff on top of everything else
Right.
might have just overwhelmed them.
Yeah.
It's like asking someone to run a marathon
Yeah.
before they can even jog.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
And I remember being a teenager, and it was chaotic enough.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine trying to learn DBT on top of all of that.
Yep.
So the article also mentions that the students themselves had some pretty interesting feedback
Yes, they did.
about the program.
They said things like there were too many acronyms to remember.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Right. Teenagers and acronyms.
And they said the concepts were just too hard to grasp.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And they needed more practical guidance on
Right.
how to actually use the skills in their everyday lives.
So it's like they were given all this information, but not really shown how to apply it.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's the Wise Teens program.
Right.
And now we get to the second research article,
Okay.
which talks about something called the prevalence inflation hypothesis.
Yes. This theory suggests that mental health awareness campaigns,
The ones that are meant to help,
right,
might actually be contributing to an increase in reported mental health problems.
yeah, and it basically comes down to two main mechanisms.
Okay.
Improved recognition
Okay.
and overinterpretation.
Mm.
So improved recognition, that sounds like a good thing, right? Yeah, like more people are aware
Exactly.
of mental health issues.
So they're more likely to recognize the signs and symptoms both in themselves and in others.
So less stigma.
Exactly. And it encourages people to seek help.
Okay, so that's all good.
Yeah, that part's definitely positive.
The thing you said, overinterpretation.
Right. That's where things can get a little tricky.
Okay, so explain that a little bit.
So as we become more familiar with all these mental health terms,
Right.
we might start to see problems where none really exists.
Oh, so like self-diagnosing?
Exactly.
Okay.
Someone who's always been a bit shy might read about social anxiety disorder
Right.
and suddenly think, oh my gosh, I have that.
Right.
And then they might start avoiding social situations even more.
Which just makes the problem worse.
Exactly. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So the more we talk about mental health problems, the more likely we are to see them everywhere.
Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon.
Kind of scary.
A little bit, yeah.
Especially for teenagers who are already going through so much.
And actually, that brings us back to the Wise Teens study.
Okay.
The researchers think this overinterpretation effect
Great.
might have actually played a role in those negative outcomes.
Oh, wow. So the program itself might have made some students more sensitive
Potentially, yeah.
to their emotions, causing them to overthink things
Right.
and misinterpret normal teenage experiences as signs of a problem.
Exactly.
And this is all with good intentions,
Of course.
which makes it even more complicated.
It does, and the article highlights another issue here.
Okay.
This increase in reported problems can lead to even more awareness efforts.
Oh, so it's like a vicious cycle.
It can be.
So we're not saying that mental health awareness is a bad thing,
No, not at all.
but the way we sometimes go about it
Yeah.
might be doing more harm than good.
That's what the research suggests.
Wow. Okay, so where do we go from here?
Well, that's a great question, and that's what I'll be talking about. Even though the Wise Teens program didn't quite go as planned,
Right.
the researchers actually had some really good suggestions
Okay.
for how we can approach mental health education.
Yeah, like what do they say? What are their suggestions?
Well, first of all, they said, we really need to make sure that these programs are tailored to the specific age group.
Oh, yeah, of course.
What works for adults might not work for teenagers.
Totally different developmental stages.
Exactly. It's like trying to teach a toddler to ride a bike
Right?
before they can even walk.
Yeah, you got to crawl before you can walk.
Exactly.
And those teenage years.
Think about it.
Wild.
Their brains are still developing.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the parts responsible for emotional regulation. So it's like expecting them to grasp all these complex therapeutic concepts.
And brains are still under construction.
Yeah, it's just not realistic.
So it's not about making things simpler.
No.
But about meeting them where they are and presenting the information in a way that they can actually understand.
Yeah, and that's engaging for them.
Right, make it relevant to their lives.
Absolutely.
Okay, so tailored programs.
Yeah, and they also emphasize the need for more individual support.
Okay, so not just group sessions.
Right, because just giving information in a group setting might not be enough for everyone.
Right. Some teenagers might need more time.
Exactly.
To process things.
They might need someone to talk to.
Like a trusted adult.
Right. Someone who can help them connect the dots.
Yeah, and reassure them that their feelings are normal.
Especially with all those hormones raging.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Teenagers go through so much.
That's a lot.
It is.
So yeah, having that support system is crucial.
Absolutely. And that actually brings us to another really important point.
Okay.
The role of parents and teachers.
Oh yeah, they're on the front lines.
They are.
You see these teenagers every day.
Exactly. They're the ones who are most likely to notice if something's up.
Right. And they can provide support.
Encouragement.
And connect them with resources if needed.
Yeah, like mental health professionals if necessary.
Yeah.
But even beyond that,
right.
Parents and teachers can create environments where teenagers feel safe and accepted.
That's so important. That sense of belonging can make such a difference.
It can really help build resilience.
It's about fostering a culture of openness and acceptance.
Where they feel comfortable talking about their struggles.
Without feeling judged.
Exactly. And that actually leads to another suggestion from the researchers.
Okay.
Maybe we should be focusing more on building resilience and coping skills.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, instead of just highlighting all the things that could go wrong, let's empower them with the tools they need to handle those challenges.
So it's like giving them a life jacket.
Yeah.
Instead of just warning them about the rough waters.
Exactly.
I love that analogy.
So instead of just teaching them about anxiety disorders, let's teach them relaxation techniques. Mindfulness exercises.
Yes.
Healthy ways to manage stress.
Give them that toolbox.
Exactly. And don't forget about positive psychology.
Oh, yeah, right.
Focusing on strengths, gratitude, optimism.
All the good stuff.
Exactly. It can make a huge difference.
So it's not about pretending that negative emotions don't exist.
No.
It's about having a balanced perspective.
Right.
And understanding that those feelings are normal.
They're a part of life.
Yeah. And we have the power to manage them.
Exactly. And this leads to another important element.
Right.
Fostering help-seeking behavior.
Oh, yeah. We don't want to encourage overinterpretation or self-diagnosis.
But we do want young people to feel comfortable reaching out for help.
Yeah, when they need it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to normalize seeking help.
Make it clear that it's a sign of strength.
Absolutely.
Not weakness.
Right.
And that means creating a culture where they feel safe talking about their mental health.
So if a student tells a teacher they're feeling anxious, that teacher needs to respond with empathy and understanding.
Yeah, not judgment.
Exactly. And the same goes for parents.
Friends.
Other trusted adults.
It's about creating that web of support.
Yeah, and letting them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
And remember how the students who did their homework
in the Wise Teens program actually had better outcomes.
Right.
Even though the program overall had some negative effects.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it suggests that even if the program structure wasn't ideal, the DBT skills themselves still have value.
Yeah, so maybe it's not about changing the content, but about finding ways to make it stick.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. If simply raising awareness isn't enough, what is the right way to approach mental health?
Especially for young people.
It seems like it's going to take a multifaceted approach.
Definitely.
We can't just rely on one solution.
And We need to move beyond just talking about mental health problems.
Right.
We need to equip them with the tools.
Yeah, give them the resources.
Help them build strong mental foundations.
So things like incorporating social-emotional learning into school curricula.
Exactly.
Training teachers in mental health first aid.
Creating more opportunities for open communication.
And help seeking.
Right.
And of course, we need to ensure access to mental health professionals.
Absolutely.
They play a crucial role.
They do.
In providing assessment,
diagnosis.
And we need to make sure that young people feel comfortable reaching out to them.
Yeah, and that mental health care is affordable.
Yes. That's a huge barrier for many people.
It is.
And here's another thought.
Okay.
We should involve mental health professionals.
In what way?
In the development and implementation of these awareness campaigns.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They can provide valuable insights on how to present the information in a way that's actually helpful.
And appropriate.
So it's about collaboration.
Yes. Bringing together researchers, clinicians, educators.
And most importantly, the young people themselves.
Exactly. We need to listen to their voices.
Yeah.
Make sure their experiences are being considered.
So it's not about us telling them what we think is best.
No, it's about working together.
To create solutions that actually work.
And we need to be open to their feedback.
Even if it's not what we want to hear.
Exactly. We need to be willing to adjust our approach.
So at the end of the day, it's not just about awareness.
It's about action.
Collaboration.
And a commitment to creating a world
where mental health is a priority.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's an ongoing process.
Definitely. We need to keep learning and adapting.
Yeah, based on the latest research.
And the feedback we get from young people.
So this is really just the beginning of the conversation.
It is.
Mental health is a journey.
And we're all in this together.
Yeah. So let's be kind to ourselves.
And to each other.
And let's keep talking about mental health.
Openly and honestly.
That's a great place to end.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We hope it's given you some things to think about.
And maybe even inspired you to take some action.
Even small steps can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the potential downsides of mental health awareness. But at the end of the day, we all want to create a world where mental health is valued.
Absolutely.
Understood, supported. And it's a journey.
Definitely.
It's not a destination.
And we're all in this together.
This has been a really insightful conversation.
It has.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
We hope you learned something new.
And that it's given you some things to think about.
And maybe even inspired you to take action.
Even small steps can make a big difference. So thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.